Welcome, champions! I am so incredibly excited you're here for a very special virtual explainer. Today, we're going to travel together all the way to the holy city of Makkah to learn the beautiful step-by-step journey of Hajj. I'll be your guide on this amazing adventure, and I promise you're going to learn so much along the way. Now, this journey is brought to you by Muslim Academy. And you know, our biggest goal here is to help you love the Quran and understand Islam in a way that's simple, fun, and just really meaningful, no matter where in the world you live. Whether you're in the United States, Europe, or anywhere else, we have patient, child-friendly teachers ready to bring that learning right into your home.
All right, let's take a quick look at our virtual Hajj itinerary. We've got 1. Preparing, 2. Arriving, 3. The greatest days, 4. Completing, and finally 5. Quiz time.
Starting right off with Section 1, Preparing for the Journey. So before we even start traveling, we need to talk about a super important word, Ihram. Ihram is the special, modest clothing that pilgrims wear. And it's actually so beautiful because it shows that everyone, no matter where they're from, what language they speak, or how rich they are, is completely equal before Allah.
So, for step 1, entering Ihram, men wear 2 simple, white, unstitched cloths. And for you, amazing women and girls, you just wear your regular, clean, modest clothes and make sure your hair is beautifully covered with a hijab. Putting on this special clothing officially starts our Hajj, and it really brings this wonderful feeling of peace and focus.
Moving on to Section 2, Arriving at the Kaaba.
Okay, the very first thing we do when we arrive is called Tawaf. Can you say Tawaf? Yeah. It simply means walking around the beautiful cube-shaped Kaaba 7 times in a circle. It's the perfect time to make lots of du'as or prayers to Allah.
So basically, arriving at the Grand Mosque features 2 main actions. First, we have the Arrival Tawaf, where we circle the Kaaba, and right after that, we do something called Sa'i, which is walking between 2 very special hills. Let's look a bit closer at how that works.
For step 2, the Arrival Tawaf, or Tawaf al-Qudum in Arabic, pilgrims circle the Kaaba 7 times the moment they enter. They start right at the corner with the black stone, keeping the Kaaba on their left side as they walk. It's honestly like a giant, peaceful ocean of people all moving together.
And then we have step 3, Sa'i. Pilgrims safely walk back and forth between the 2 small hills of Safa and Marwa exactly 7 times. We do this to remember a really brave mother, Hajj. She ran between these very same hills looking for water for her baby, Prophet Ismail, and Allah rewarded her with the miraculous Zamzam well. Now for Section 3, the greatest days.
Here is our timeline for these incredibly special days. We move from resting in tents on the first day to the biggest day of all at a very famous mountain, and finally we spend a peaceful night sleeping right under the stars.
So for step 4, pilgrims actually leave Makkah and go to a valley called Mina, where they rest and pray in thousands of fireproof white tents. Then for step 5, the very next morning, they travel to stand at Mount Arafah. Now remember this, champions. Standing at Arafah and making sincere prayers to Allah is absolutely the most important day of Hajj.
After a long, beautiful day of praying at Arafah until the sun finally goes down, step 6 takes us to an open plain called Muzdalifah. Here, pilgrims pray together, they gather small safe pebbles for the next day, and then they spend a peaceful night sleeping outdoors under Allah's sky. It's literally like a massive, blessed camping trip with millions of other Muslims.
All right, almost there. Section 4, Completing the Hajj. When the sun rises, everyone heads back to Mina. In step 7, pilgrims safely throw 7 small pebbles at a large stone wall called Jamarat al-Aqaba. This is to remind us to always push away bad thoughts and listen to Allah, just like Prophet Ibrahim did. Then, in step 8, an animal like a sheep is sacrificed, and none of this meat is wasted. It gets packaged up and sent to feed poor and hungry people all around the world, making it a truly beautiful act of charity. Now we're bringing together steps 9 through 12. After the sacrifice, men safely shave or trim their hair, and women trim just a tiny bit of theirs to symbolize a fresh, clean start. Then, everyone returns to the Kaaba for another tawaf, called Tawaf al-Ifadah. Finally, they head back to the tents in Mina for a few more days to stone all 3 Jamarat pillars. It's definitely a busy time, but everyone helps each other out.
And finally, we reach step 13. Before leaving Mecca to head back home, pilgrims perform the Farewell Tawaf, or Tawaf al-Wida, taking one final circle. It is such a beautiful and sometimes very emotional final goodbye to the Kaaba, thanking Allah for a safe and successful journey.
Section 5. Let's test your knowledge.
Question 1 for my really smart learners out there. Do you remember the name of the special two-piece white clothing for men and the modest clothes and hijab for women that marks the beginning of Hajj? I'll give you just a second to think.
If you shouted out Ihram, you are absolutely correct. Excellent work paying attention to those key definitions at the very beginning of our trip.
All right, here is your final question. Out of all 13 steps we just explored together, which location is the absolute most important day of the entire Hajj journey? Think back to our timeline in that mountain.
That's right. Standing and praying at Mount Arafah is the most important part of the journey. If you got that right, well, you are officially a Hajj expert.
As we finish our explainer today, I am just so proud of how much you've learned. I want to leave you with this really beautiful thought. If you could visit the magnificent Kaaba tomorrow, what is the very first prayer you would make to Allah? Think about that deeply and maybe even share it with your family tonight. Thank you so much for learning with Muslim Academy today, and I'll see you in the next explainer.